Have you ever wondered what really happens when a child who's pretty familiar with their smartphone, who knows their way around their favorite apps and games, spends an afternoon with a friend who perhaps spends a lot more time building forts in the living room or drawing intricate worlds on paper? It's a question that I know has crossed the minds of so many of us navigating this modern world of parenting. It's one of those things, isn't it? In our hyper-connected world, screen time is such a constant conversation, and it's so easy to fall into comparing our family's choices with others, or worrying about whether we're getting it right with our own kids. We see these different rhythms, these different ways children are growing up with and without technology, and it can make us deeply curious, maybe even a little anxious, about how it all plays out in their social lives, in their friendships, in their ability to simply play together. We might find ourselves asking, is my child missing out? Or are screens getting in the way of something important? So today, I wanted to share a little journey, a kind of gentle observation really. Think of it as a compassionate peek into one such playdate, the kind the title playfully calls a social experiment. But let me be really clear from the outset. This isn't about labeling any child as a smartphone kid or a non-smartphone kid in a judgmental way. And it's certainly not about declaring one way of growing up as inherently superior to another. Goodness, no. Instead, this is about exploring what we, as parents, can learn about connection, about the rich tapestry of childhood play, and about our children's incredible inner worlds when these different experiences and preferences come together under one roof. It's about seeking understanding with a whole lot of heart, so we can better navigate these modern parenting puzzles, and most importantly, support our children in forming meaningful connections. And the very first step in an exploration like this, before any toys are touched or any snacks are offered, is all about setting the stage with real intention, and perhaps most crucially, with genuine curiosity. It's about deciding to look with open eyes and an even more open heart, ready to be surprised and to learn. This really is the foundation, isn't it? Approaching something like this, observing a playdate with a specific focus, requires us to consciously step away from any preconceived notions we might have. Maybe we're worried our child relies too much on screens for entertainment, or perhaps we're secretly hoping this playdate will magically convert them to the joys of unplugged play. But if we go in with an agenda, we're likely to miss the subtle, beautiful, and genuinely interesting things that can unfold. The real goal here isn't to prove a point, but to gather insights that can help us understand our own child better, and to see the world a little more clearly through their eyes and the eyes of their friend. So how do we practically set the stage for loving observation? Well, it often starts with a conversation with the other parent. This can feel a little delicate because we don't want anyone to feel like their child is under a microscope. I found that framing it with honesty and shared curiosity works best. Something like, I was thinking it would be so lovely for Leo and Sam to have an afternoon to just play. And I've been so curious lately about how children with different experiences of, say, screen time, and specifically around things like phone use, find common ground and connect. It's just something I'm pondering as a parent. Would you be comfortable if, while they're playing here, I just kind of quietly observe what they get up to? I'm not looking to interfere, just to learn a bit more about the dynamics of play these days. Most parents, I think, are also curious about these things and appreciate a thoughtful approach. And of course, if you were ever considering something like taking a few notes or even filming snippets purely for your own private reflection later, that needs to be discussed with complete transparency and enthusiastic consent from the other parent. The child's comfort and privacy are absolutely paramount, always. The filming aspect, if considered at all, should be about capturing moments you might want to reflect on later, to understand play patterns, not about creating content at the expense of anyone's comfort. The key is that the focus remains on a happy, relaxed playdate for the children. Then there's a little chat with your own child, keeping it super light and positive. Guess what? Maya is coming over to play this afternoon. It's going to be so much fun. I'll be around, just enjoying seeing what amazing games you both come up with. No pressure, no sense that they're being tested. Just an atmosphere of warmth and anticipation. And finally, think about the environment. Is it welcoming for both children? This might mean having some inviting, open-ended, non-screen activities easily visible and accessible. Art supplies, some intriguing building blocks, a couple of fascinating books, maybe some dress-up clothes. It doesn't mean hiding the smartphone or declaring a screen ban, unless that's a prior agreement with the other parent for this particular playdate. Sometimes, the presence of the smartphone, even if it's not immediately grabbed, is part of the dynamic you're observing. How is it navigated? Is it ignored? Does it become a point of discussion? The idea is to create a space where various forms of play can emerge naturally. I remember when I first consciously decided to observe a playdate with this kind of lens. I was a little nervous bringing up my curiosity with the other mom. But when I explained I wasn't trying to prove a point about good or bad screen habits, just genuinely wanting to understand how different play styles mesh and how kids connect in today's world, she was actually really interested too. We agreed the main goal was just a happy, fun afternoon for the kids, and any insights we might glean would simply be a bonus. That shared understanding made all the difference. So, after you've set the stage with that open, curious heart and a thoughtfully prepared environment, the next step is really about honing the art of gentle observation, becoming a kind of compassionate play detective. This is where we shift from just passively being in the same room to actively, yet unobtrusively, noticing the nuances of their interaction. It's not about staring, of course, but about being attuned. Think of yourself as a naturalist, quietly observing creatures in their habitat, marveling at their ingenuity. Where can you position yourself so you're present, but not a focal point? Perhaps at the kitchen table with a cup of tea, or on the sofa with a book, close enough to hear and see, but engaged in your own quiet activity. Then you start to tune in with all your senses. What's the overall energy in the room? Is it boisterous and loud, or quiet and focused? What's their body language telling you? Are they leaning towards each other, making eye contact, mirroring actions? Or is there a sense of disconnection, of parallel play that doesn't quite intersect? Notice who initiates activities. Does one child tend to lead, or is it more reciprocal? How are ideas received? If one child suggests, "Let's play superheroes," how does the other respond? Is there enthusiasm, hesitation, or a counter-suggestion? Watch how they negotiate, how they compromise, or how they handle it if their ideas clash. These are all tiny windows into their developing social skills. And then, specifically relating to our theme, you might gently track the tech temptation, as I sometimes call it. If and when does a request for a screen, particularly a phone, emerge? Who brings it up? What's the context? Does it seem to come from a moment of boredom, a lull in the play? Is it an attempt to share something genuinely exciting like, "You have to see this cool video," or "Check out this game I'm playing"? Or could it be a default setting, a go-to activity when unsure what to do next? And very importantly, how does the other child respond to this suggestion? Are they keen, indifferent, or do they try to steer the play in another direction? There's so much rich information in these little moments. I recall one playdate I was observing. My child, who often enjoys unwinding with a game on their phone after school, was playing with a friend who rarely used screens for entertainment. After about an hour of really energetic, imaginative play, they'd built an elaborate spy headquarters under the dining table. There was a natural lull. My child said, "Want to play a popular phone game?" Their friend, who was busy trying to tape a secret map to the wall, just kind of said, "Oh, maybe later. I need to finish this map," and carried on with intense focus. My child watched for a moment, then picked up another piece of paper and started drawing their own gadget for the spy headquarters. The smartphone was momentarily forgotten. For me, that was such an interesting observation. It wasn't a rejection of the screen, nor was it a judgment. It was simply that the ongoing imaginative play held more allure for both of them in that specific moment. Seeing that organic choice, that flow, was incredibly insightful. It reminded me that our children often have a wonderful capacity to engage deeply in various forms of play, and sometimes the presence of an alternative, engaging activity is all that's needed. Now, observing is one thing, and it's incredibly valuable. But where the real aha moments often come is when we start to gently unpack why things might be unfolding the way they are. This is about moving beyond just cataloging behaviors to trying to understand the motivations and feelings that might be underneath the surface. This is where the interesting part of our social experiment truly comes alive. After the playdate is over and you have a quiet moment, it can be so helpful to reflect on what you noticed. If you did happen to jot down a few mental notes, or even captured a short, private video snippet, this is the time to revisit it. Not to critique your child or their friend, but with that same gentle curiosity. Ask yourself, what patterns did I see? What surprised me? What warmed my heart? Consider the individual temperaments of the children involved. Is one child naturally more introverted and perhaps finds loud, boisterous play a bit overwhelming? Does another thrive on constant action and novelty? How do these innate personality traits influence not only how they play together, but also their relationship with technology, like smartphones? For some children, a phone can be a calm, predictable oasis in a socially stimulating environment. For others, it might be a tool for connection, a way to share a common interest. When we think about the pull of a screen, it's so easy to jump to conclusions like they're addicted or they can't entertain themselves. But if we dig a little deeper, we might find other explanations. Could a child gravitating towards a smartphone be feeling a bit shy or socially awkward, and the screen offers a familiar comfort zone? Is it a learned habit for moments of transition or unstructured time? Or, as I mentioned earlier, could it genuinely be a bid for connection? Look what I can do. Let me share this with you. I've seen children who are less verbally expressive use a game on a phone to bridge a gap with a new friend, a way to find common ground without needing lots of words. It's also important to recognize that connection attempts can look very different. A child excitedly showing another their favorite YouTube video on their phone about building elaborate Lego structures might be making just as valid a bid for connection as a child inviting another to physically build with Lego. The form is different, but the underlying desire to share and connect might be the same. Our role as observers is to try and see that intent behind the action. I remember one instance where a child visiting our home seemed a little reserved, while my child was full of energy, suggesting one active game after another. The visiting child kept making comments like, "At my house, I have this really cool game on my phone." My initial, almost unconscious thought was, "Oh, here we go. They just want a screen." But as I listened more carefully and watched their tentative body language, I started to wonder if they were feeling a little overwhelmed by my child's high energy and was perhaps mentioning the phone as a way to signal a preference for a quieter, more focused activity, or even as a way to share something they felt confident and competent in. Later, when my child was briefly called away, I quietly asked the friend, "That game sounds really interesting. What's it about?" Their face lit up as they described it. It wasn't just about wanting a screen. It was about wanting to share a part of their world. That shift in my perception was profound. It helped me see that what can look like a screen-seeking behavior can actually be a complex mix of personality, comfort-seeking, and a desire to connect on their own terms. And this deeper understanding of what might be happening beneath the surface naturally leads us to think about our role as parents in these situations. It's not about orchestrating their play, but sometimes, especially if you sense a disconnect, or if the children seem a bit stuck, a little gentle facilitation, a subtle nudge, can make all the difference in nurturing their connection. This isn't about intervening to force a particular outcome for your experiment, like trying to steer them away from screens at all costs. Instead, it's about being a supportive presence, ready to help build bridges if needed, always with the goal of fostering a positive experience for both children. One of the most effective yet subtle ways to do this is through what some parenting experts call strewing. This lovely term simply means casually and invitingly placing interesting, open-ended, non-screen materials where children might naturally discover them. Think a basket of colorful scarves and fabric scraps near the sofa, a tray with Play-Doh and some interesting tools on a low table, or a set of fascinating illustrated books about animals or faraway places left open on a rug. These items act as quiet invitations, whispering, "Come and explore me," without any pressure from you. Then there's the art of the gentle invitation, as opposed to a direct command. Instead of saying, "Why don't you two put down the smartphone and play with the blocks?" which can feel a bit like a criticism, you might try something that sparks their curiosity. Perhaps, "Oh, I just remembered we have that amazing new set of paints that shimmer. I wonder what kind of magical creatures you could paint with those." Or, looking out the window, "That huge, fluffy cloud looks just like a giant sheep. What adventures do you think a cloud sheep would have?" You're not telling them what to do. You're offering a spark, an idea, a wonder. Sometimes, modeling shared enjoyment very briefly can help. If they seem a bit aimless, you could say, "Wow, this puzzle looks tricky. Mind if I try to find one piece with you?" You join in for a minute or two, bringing a little positive energy, and then, just as they're getting engaged, you step back and let them take over. Your brief participation can sometimes be the catalyst they need to connect with each other over the activity. And what about those moments when screen requests do come up, and perhaps one child is very keen, while the other seems less so, or you feel it's tipping the balance away from other forms of interaction? This is where thoughtful navigation comes in. It's not always about a hard no. You could try validating the interest while gently redirecting or suggesting a balance. For example, "That game on the phone does look really fun. How about you play one round? Or for about 10 minutes. And then I was wondering if you could show Leo that amazing fort building kit we got. He'd be so good at helping with the design." You're acknowledging their interest, offering a clear boundary, and then presenting an appealing alternative that encourages collaboration. I recall a playdate where the energy had definitely lulled. My child asked for the smartphone, and their friend, who had been very engaged in non-screen play up until then, just kind of shrugged, looking a bit at a loose end. Instead of launching into a lecture about screen time, or just handing over the phone, I said, "Tell you what, I just remembered we have that amazing bubble mixture outside, and the sun is shining so beautifully. Want to go on a bubble expedition? And see who can make the biggest one before we think about anything else." The combination of a little mystery and the simple joy of bubbles was enough. They trooped outside, and for the next half hour, there was laughter and shrieks of delight as they chased and popped bubbles. The smartphone was completely forgotten for the rest of the afternoon. It wasn't about being anti-screen. It was about offering an equally, if not more, compelling and joyful invitation in that specific moment. One that naturally encouraged shared experience and movement. This journey of parenting, especially when it comes to navigating things like technology and social dynamics, is never really about finding one single right answer, is it? It's so much more about staying curious, about being willing to observe and learn, not just about our children, but also about ourselves and our own reactions. These moments of observation, these mini social experiments, conducted with love and empathy, aren't designed to give us definitive black and white results about whether smartphones are good or bad. Instead, their true value lies in the interesting insights they offer us into the incredible complexity of our children's worlds, their unique ways of connecting, and their innate capacity for joy and imagination in all its forms. What we often find when we look with an open heart is that children are incredibly adaptable. They can navigate different social landscapes, engage with various forms of play, and find ways to connect that might surprise us. And our role, perhaps, is less about controlling their environment and more about understanding their needs, fostering their strengths, and gently guiding them towards connection, balance, and empathy, both online and offline. It's about trusting that deep well of wisdom within us, that intuitive sense of what feels right for our family and our child, while always remaining open to learning and growing alongside them. There's so much beauty in witnessing those unscripted moments of childhood, and so much we can learn if we just pause and pay attention. Remember, you're doing so much better than you think. This path of parenthood is a continuous adventure of discovery, and every step taken with compassion and a desire to understand deepens the connection with our children. If these kinds of gentle explorations and heartfelt conversations about family life resonate with you, I'd be so honored if you'd consider liking this video, sharing it with anyone else who might find it supportive, and subscribing to our Family Connection Hub. We're building a community here that's all about navigating the ups and downs of parenting with more understanding, connection, and joy together. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. Go gently.